Okay, so let's just start talking about the new topic we have, and that is photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. We'll just try to keep it short. Photo means light, okay, and synthesis means formation. Okay, so what is this formation about? This is the formation of carbohydrate. Okay, and this was the due to line. So the whole translation thing of the photosynthesis is the formation of carbohydrate in the presence of sunlight. Okay, so there are some definitions that you might have heard of. Okay, definitions that you have seen for photosynthesis. What are these? Visible to you? Yes. What are these definitions? These are the conversion, the conversion of solar energy into chemical energy. Chemical energy is called photosynthesis. So we have come to know what photosynthesis is all about. It's the solar energy's conversion into chemical energy. This is what bioenergetics is all about, okay? So you probably have seen another definition of photosynthesis. That was the conversion, perhaps you have seen, conversion of inorganic substances. Inorganic substances. Now, what are they talking about here? Inorganic substances, they are talking about water, and they are talking about the carbon dioxide. Inorganic substances into organic substances. Organic substance. I just substance because this is just one inorganic substance. And what are they talking about here is C6H12O6, the glucose molecule that you name. There are certain byproducts also here in the equation, we'll see, but this is what they are not talking about. In the presence of sunlight, so you cannot convert the inorganic compounds, or say in sunlight, in the presence of inorganic substances, say water or carbon dioxide, into organic substances without sunlight. So we will be definitely talking in the detail. Okay, see, photosynthesis is a very big process, so you cannot really study it in a whole lump here. So what you are going to do is you're going to divide it into two different categories, steps. I hope I'm making sense and it's visible to you. Okay, so the one step is called light reaction, and 50% of photosynthesis is here, and the other is called dark reaction. The other 50% of this is dark reaction. In the first half, since the sites are different, in the first half you use one of the two raw material of the photosynthesis. See, what is the equation saying? The equation saying it's a water molecule H2O getting mixing up with carbon dioxide 6 molecule, and what you're making is C6H12O6, and you're making 6O2, and you're making 6H2O. Okay, so this is 12 and this is 6. Okay, 12 water molecules, when interact with 6 carbon dioxide, they make one C6H12O6, one glucose molecule, 6 oxygen molecular oxygen, and 6 water. So what you can see is this raw material is used in light reaction, and this one here is used in dark reaction, dark reaction. So sites are also different for light reaction and the dark reaction. Okay, since light is used and it's totally depending on the light, if the light factor is absent, this reaction will not be taking place. I hope we are making sense with this entire thing. Let me just zoom out a little so that you can see. Okay, zoom out, yes. Okay, so light reaction, and this is the dark reaction. Light reaction is, since light is necessarily a constituent, or rather a factor for the light reaction to proceed. This is why this reaction is better called light dependent reaction. Light dependent reaction. This gives me a sign that probably without light, the reaction is not going to take place. So this is light dependent reaction. Dark reaction is not dark dependent reaction. It's actually called light independent reaction. Independent reaction. Because for this, it's not necessary that light has to be absent. No, it's dark dependent reaction. No. It's not dark dependent reaction. It's light independent reaction, which means it's if the light is present or not, it's not going to affect this process anyway. Okay, so these are the two equations. Light reaction uses water. Dark reaction uses carbon dioxide, and this is what the reaction photosynthesis is all about. So you can study this reaction in 2 steps. Step number 1 is called the light reaction, and step number 2 is called the dark reaction, which we are going to discuss. Okay, so out of these 2 things, obviously you know that this half of this is called reactant. Okay, arrowtail are called reactants, and arrowhead are called products. Now these two are called byproducts, because this is what we did not intend to make. They are accidentally made out of the reaction. They are called byproducts. Oxygen and water are the byproducts of the photosynthesis. C6H12O6 is genuinely a product, but since you write it on top of the arrowhead, so you call it the what? You call it the product section. So obviously these two are called reactant, and certainly these two will be called raw material. These two will be called raw material. So what's raw material? Raw material is something that you have before you go for a reaction. This is called raw material. There are 2 things that you use as a raw material. One is carbon dioxide is a raw material. Water is a raw material. CO2 is a raw material, and H2O is a raw material. So these are the 2 things that we must have before we go on to proceed with the photosynthesis. I hope we are making sense. So out of the two, carbon dioxide, this is used in dark reaction. Okay, and out of this one is used in light reaction. I hope we are making sense of this whole thing here. Light reaction and dark reaction. Okay, light reaction uses water. Okay, exactly in the step called photolysis. We'll be talking about in the detail here. And carbon dioxide is used in the dark reaction. It's actually carbon fixation. We will also be talking about. Okay, about these two things are just not there. There are actually four things which you require for photosynthesis to take place. The third is called light, but since light is not significant materialistically present here, so we don't really put them in the raw material. Light is also a third factor which is required for the photosynthesis to take place. The fourth thing that you probably are necessarily going to require, not just probably, is going to be chlorophyll. Now, you must have chlorophyll, or I should say chloroplast for the reaction to take place. So these are the four things. But see, their contribution is just, certainly they are necessary factors, but they don't put the materialistic contribution into making C6H12O6. They are just necessary factors for the photosynthesis to take place. Now, see, when you look at the structure, look at the visible to yes. Look at the structure C6H12O6. So you have a carbon and you have an oxygen and you have the hydrogen here. You have 6 atoms of carbon, you have 12 atoms of hydrogen, and you have 6 atoms of oxygen. And if you could look at the structure, the carbon dioxide's contribution is that carbon atom in oxygen is present in carbon dioxide. So out of these three, 1, 2, 3, out of these three, carbon and oxygen are contributed by carbon dioxide. Okay, these two, carbon and oxygen, they are contributed. This one, yeah, and this one. They both are contributed by what? By carbon dioxide, by CO2. Carbon atoms and oxygen are contributed by carbon dioxide. What we are left with is the hydrogen here, the hydrogen here. And remember, hydrogen is contributed by water. Perhaps you know that water is called reducing. Visible to you? Yes, visible to you. Reducing agent. Why would you call anything a reducing agent? Why? Because that probably would contribute electrons, or that will be contributing some hydrogen. So water is contributing electrons and hydrogen at the same time. So this is why you call water as the reducing agent. So if you ask me which one of the two has a major contribution in the compositional contribution, then certainly carbon dioxide has a greater part in the contribution in making C6H12O6. Water is used as the reducing agent on that. So this was something that was a superficial introduction to the photosynthesis. We said that in order to understand photosynthesis, you have to divide it into 2 steps so that you can understand better. And one is called the light reaction and the other is called the dark reaction. We can continue with this video going on with that, but let's just make this one as a separate video, and then we'll make another video for these things. Okay, so let's just add one more thing. Carbon dioxide certainly comes from atmosphere, yeah, particularly air. If you are a terrestrial plant or if you're an aquatic plant, you can also have carbon dioxide being dissolved in the water. Okay, and how? Through the pores that these plants have on the surface, stomata. Okay, and how about the water? You can also take water from the atmosphere, okay, particularly soil. They can take water if you are an aquatic plant. You can take water from the atmosphere. For this, you probably need roots, or you can also use your rhizoids for the absorption of the water. So this was something that I wanted you to know. Okay, this is introduction to photosynthesis. For photosynthesis, for a process of photosynthesis, you need to understand these basic things. Then you can go on with those light reaction and dark reaction. Okay, are we done? Yes, this one here takes place in thylakoid. What are thylakoid? We'll discuss in the later part. Thylakoid membrane. Okay, and this one takes place. Which one? This one takes place in stroma. What are stroma? We will be discussing this in the second video. So let's just go in the second video.